Have you guys been on Twitter in the last 2 days? It has been an absolute dumpster fire. Like, I have not seen so much tomfoolery in all of my life. And I know that sounds rich coming from somebody that is frequently on Twitter, but I gotta say, like, this might be one of the most turbulent times in the FGC that I've ever seen. Now, I'm gonna start off by saying, I know that I'm British, I know I'm English, I know that I'm commenting on something that doesn't necessarily go on in my backyard. Like, don't get me wrong, these conversations happen here because what happens in America spills over here, so we end up getting a little bit of it, and that sort of goes for everything when it comes to American and British culture. But I've been talking to people regarding two situations. Now, one of them is quite a touchy subject, and it's obviously regarding Hax's account and the rumors going around of who might be using the account. I know it's his mum, but there's been some rumors going around, and there was some stuff with Arturo Sanchez that happened. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. And the other thing is, somebody posted up this tweet, and the tweet sparked a lot of controversy, and I commented on it because I thought it was absolutely ridiculous, and it sent some controversy my way. So I'm just going to preface this before I read the tweet to you guys. This isn't going to be one of those, like, you know, we're dunking on Tekken videos or Mortal Kombat or anything. This is like a community-based discussion, which is going to be followed up by a podcast that I'm supposed to be having on Thursday this week, which is going to be the 8th of May 2025. Hopefully that doesn't fall through. It's probably going to be quite a spicy podcast. I'm not going to lie to you guys. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. I'll get to the tweet now, just to let you guys know though, this is one of those videos where some people are not going to like what I have to say. And judging from some of the responses that I got on Twitter, I think it's fair to say that you guys probably ain't going to like where I'm going to go with this. And it's going to seem like I'm sitting on the fence, but I'll be honest with you, after all the conversations that I've had in the last 2 days from both sides of the spectrum, I'm quite happy sitting on my fence, because in my estimation, both sides are full of fucking crazy people. So the first tweet that we're going to cover is from an individual called Point FGC. And Point FGC tweeted out saying, "I don't think anyone who voted for Trump has a place in the fighting game community, genuinely. You can be all, I don't agree with trans and LGBTQ, but till you're blue in the face, but you voted a bigot into office and that gave a platform for other bigots, so you're one of them." Now, obviously, I saw that tweet and I simply said to him, which I thought was the common sense take, "Good thing you're not in charge of the FGC then. What an incredibly stupid thing to say. You're there to push buttons and that's it. Stick to that and you'll find most people can get along." Now, my tweet picked up a lot of traction. I had a lot of conversations with people, got blocked by a fair amount of people for the things that I said in that tweet. I don't want to read through all of the replies, although I am going to pick out some just to show you the lunacy that was going on Twitter. But when I read that tweet, I thought to myself, when I was growing up in the arcades and when I was going to tournaments very frequently from 2008 up until now, I always knew that there were people that didn't like me there for the way I look, the way I speak, or, you know, maybe just simply because I'm black. You know, the racists exist, obviously, we all know that. I mean, there's been loads of stories that some of the old school guys here in the UK can tell. I'm sure they've told it on the podcast before. We've dealt with racism before. Obviously, being a person of color, you come across it every now and then. It doesn't keep me up at night. I don't really care what people think, and that was my mentality going into these tournaments for many years, knowing that there was a subsection of the community that was saying some crazy things on forums or in their private messages that would sometimes get leaked. But my way of thinking of it, and I guess the guys that were around me at the time, was always, they're not going to come up to me and say it to my face. They're not going to put hands on me. That's just what they believe. We're there to push buttons, and as long as they're there to push buttons, we don't need to be friends. We don't need to shake hands. We don't have to say GGs. We just have to play the set and keep it moving. I've always been on the fence when it comes to banning people for their beliefs. I'm okay with banning somebody if they're coming to the event to cause harm, or if they're saying on Twitter or Facebook or whatever social media app it is that they're going to come to the event to cause harm. I think that's grounds to ban somebody fairly and protect the people that are going to the venue to have a good time. I think that if you're in the venue and you're starting a fight with somebody, obviously kick them out. If you're in the venue and you're harassing a certain type of person for the way they look or the way they identify, kick them out. If you're bothering women, kick them out. If you're even bothering other dudes, kick them out. But I think that if you are just somebody that has certain political beliefs and you don't say anything, which is what most people do when they go to fighting game events because they just want to press buttons, it's fair game as far as I'm concerned. I've always looked at it that way, knowing that there are people that don't like me simply for being half black. But I guess times have changed quite a lot, and we do live in a much more sensitive time now, And this individual is calling for the ban of anyone that voted for Trump. Now, obviously, being in Britain, we do have our opinions on Trump and Biden and Kamala and JD Vance and all those guys. We have our opinions because we watch your news, we watch your media, we watch your debates. And there are a lot of people here that hold strong opinions, but it never really crosses our mind to say you're not welcome in the venue. Now, it's a crazy proposition to even put that forward, because all it is rage bait. Because at the end of the day, the big tournaments like EVO or the regional tournaments, or whatever it might be, the TOs are not going to be checking people's IDs at the door. So then, to all the people that are agreeing with this, I say to you, what is the end game here? Are you just saying it for the sake of saying it? Which is, fine, I guess, if you want to have conversation on Twitter or on Facebook, but you're not going to be able to ban these people because the FGC does not belong to the left. It doesn't belong to the right. It belongs to everybody. And unless somebody's coming there to harm you, or unless somebody's in the venue doing something crazy or saying something crazy, you can't ban them. It's pointless, which is what I was trying to get across to a lot of people, and they were saying that I'm defending racists. I was like, I'm not defending racists, you fucking idiots. I'm saying that you're not going to be able to do this. This is a pointless conversation. Why don't you do something realistic? A lot of them were saying to me, well, we want to have the conversation, so hopefully these bigots will see the error of their ways. And I was like, I don't think calling them bigots over and over again is going to help them see anything. It's going to push them further into whatever corner you think they're in. Now, I don't want anyone to get anything mistaken. I'm not a Trump supporter. I'm not a Biden or Kamala Harris supporter, whoever's over there running for them now or whatever's going on. I don't like any of them, but don't take offense to it. I don't like our politicians either. Now, I can't say too much about that. I am in the UK. If you know, you know. But I just don't like this idea that people are trying to perpetuate online that if you voted a certain way that you are a bigot. There's loads of people that I know in America that, I'm not going to name obviously, that voted for him based on one singular policy that really affects them based on where they live, or one singular policy that they think that might affect their children in the future, or might affect something that is important to them. Everybody is fighting their own fights and everybody has their own struggles, and this is why I was telling people on Twitter, just go and play the game and don't worry about what other people are doing. A, they're not going to ban them, so all this is doing is drumming up more anger in this community, and it's already at a fever pitch. And B, you're not going to change the minds of people by repeatedly calling them names and then saying hopefully they'll change if they see this. Now, there was some good conversations that started off a little bit fiery. Like, I had a conversation with this individual called Matsunaga, and we went back and forth for almost a day. And it ended pleasantly, but that was about the only one that ended pleasantly. A few people blocked me over it. There was a lot of people calling me names. Someone was like effing and blinding so much I can't even put it on the screen. I said to him, bro, can you relax? We're just having a conversation here. Like, people are very, very passionate about this. Now, there was a fair amount of people on this post that were saying, yeah, this is a crazy thing to say, and it's not going to happen. Like, you have this individual here, RBK, who apparently was somebody that used to watch my content, has now blocked me. Now, I've expressed no support for Trump, and I don't support Trump, and I don't support the Democrats either. I'm very much, as you would say, offensive, because I think they're all fucking idiots. But he says to me, was behind you with the Namco callouts, you become a Trump parrot and you'll go right in the trash with them. And I was just like, are majority of people taking part in this conversation like bots or something? Can't they read? My position on this is very clear. It's the position that we've had in the fighting game community for a very, very, very long time. And that is, go and play the game, mind your own business, and go home. If somebody's bothering you, report it and they will be removed. We have the same rules everywhere in society. Why do you think a fighting game tournament is going to be any different? When you go to a restaurant, do you ask the restaurant owner if there are Trump supporters in there? And if the restaurant owner says yes, do you walk out? The answer is no. You go there and you sit down, you have your food, and you leave. How is that any different to a fighting game event? When you go to the cinema, you do the same thing. When you are out in public in general, you do the same thing, and there are safeguards and safety measures in place to protect you from violent criminals or people that want to do harmful things to you because of the way that you look or the way that you act or the way that you talk. Now, this goes both ways. I mean, we've spoken about technicals on here multiple times, and people feel very justified in saying that they want to attack technicals. There are plenty of posts on there of people that still go to tournaments, and I don't see any level of uproar when it comes to those sort of things. And technicals is not the only one. I have witnessed multiple accounts of people saying they want to hammer somebody, they want to punch somebody, we should jump this person at the event, simply for leaning a certain way. So if we go down the road of banning people, we're going to end up flatlining half of the FGC because half of you are mad. And I don't know what happened during COVID, but it does feel like everything went downhill. Because before COVID, or maybe not, maybe just before, it was going downhill as well. But I remember a time where we would go to tournaments tournaments. And even though we knew another man didn't like us, even though we didn't exactly get along, we just played the game and we went home. You guys are not the police. You can't be doing this stuff and expecting any positive results. You're only going to drum up anger from people. And I know what people are going to say. Yeah, but Mike, Trump's a really bad man. Tariffs this, xenophobia that. I understand. I've heard it 100 times. What I am saying is they're not going to ban these people. So what is the next course of action? Now, without throwing anyone's names up, because I don't particularly want to dogpile anyone in this, a couple of people were making out like the only possible resolution to this is violence, which is hilarious considering they are the ones saying that they want to foster an inclusive and safe environment, and then realizing after I say to them, how are you going to get these individuals out of the tournaments? The only solution to them would be violence. It's like, what planet are you people on? Now, I'm not saying that there's not grounds to ban people, and I'm going to get to the next point in this, and I'm going to move on to Arturo Sanchez and Hax's account being apparently run by his mum, because it does kind of tie into this conversation, and also the podcast that I'm potentially going to be doing on Thursday. But you really do need to stop and think. And I know that my audience is mostly American. I know that my analytics show that like 80% of my viewers are American. So I don't want it to sound like, oh, this fucking Brit, like he doesn't even know what he's on about. It's not that. It's like, even when I talk to Americans on the tweets and in DMs, they're all like, yeah, bro, like I'm a person of color. I just want to go play the game. I don't know who the fuck these people are saying, let's do this and let's do that and let's get these people out of here. A lot of the people don't care. They're just like, mate, we just want to get on with it. And I love how the people that are saying that they want to be inclusive are using some of the most vitriolic and provocative language on this post. It's not like what I said was antagonistic. That's what we've been doing in the FGC since the dawn of its inception. I don't know where people got this idea that we've always been like this. It was never like this before. It certainly wasn't like this in the arcades. Ever since Twitter blew up and the FGC moved online, we have got the most deranged, illogical people ever making the most noise. Now, to close off this part of the video, before we move on to the next part, is if you feel like Trump is the kind of person that is perpetuating a certain type of mindset and you feel unsafe, the only thing that you can really do about this is, hey, you can have conversation on Twitter, I guess. I mean, it would be better if the conversation wasn't so inflammatory, because you're not really going to make any headway. You're only going to further push people into their corners. But the unfortunate reality is you're going to have to stay your ass at home, because these TOs are not going to ban all these people. More than half of the country voted for that guy, so you've got a bit of an uphill battle. Now, I'm not saying that I'm okay with racists. Like, someone was asking me, are you okay with racists being here instead of people feeling comfortable? No, it's not that. But I'm not going to go around policing everybody for their thoughts when they're in a fighting game event, as long as they don't bother me. The same way when I go to a restaurant, there are measures in place to protect someone like me if there's a psycho in there that is harassing people or calling for violence. So as long as you sit your ass down and play the game, you're not going to have a fucking problem. And you're going to have to accept the fact, just like they have probably accepted the fact, that you people will not see eye to eye. They may not like the fact that you are a certain type of way, and you might not like the fact that they think a certain type of way. It is what it is. Human nature. We enter these venues, we coexist, and we go home. No one's saying be buddy buddy. However, I am not blind to things that happen on Twitter, and I know when somebody is rage baiting. I know when somebody is trying to elicit a reaction. And in this instance with Arturo Sanchez, I do believe, and I don't have any malice in my heart towards Arturo, but these are my honest thoughts on what has been going on. He is playing a stupid game right now, and he is running the risk of winning a stupid prize. Now, there have been multiple instances where I have had run-ins with Arturo Sanchez, and it's never been vitriolic ones. I even DM'd him last night because I wanted to ask him to appear on the podcast before I made this video to give my thoughts on it, because I'd rather talk to people looking at them. I'd much rather do it face to face, but cam is the best thing that we can do right now, and try to understand their mindsets, because the things that I'm seeing from Arturo Sanchez are inflammatory at best and absolutely disastrous for the scene at worst. Now, obviously, we lost Hax, and it was a really tragic situation. I didn't know Hax personally. I'd only spoken to him once in passing, and I think it was on some random Twitter post, or I can't remember what, it was ages ago. But I didn't know the guy, didn't know anything about him other than what had been put on the internet, and I knew that what the Smash community was doing to him was very fucked up. And far be it from me to defend the Smash community, which I will not be doing on this video. You guys have seen plenty of videos on my channel where I rip into them for the absolutely heinous things they've done, and thank God that we have somebody like Technicals who is doing the necessary work to expose these people, these sick, deranged individuals that fester within that scene and other scenes in the fighting game community. So it's not not a defense of them by any stretch of the imagination, and the corner that they backed Hacks into and the way they made him feel, yeah, I do think they should take full responsibility for that. So at no point will you see me defending these people or any of these TOs that might have banned Hacks or kept him away from the scene that he loved. It's tragic that his life is gone, and I wish that it didn't happen. I wish I probably couldn't have made a difference, but you always like want to maybe impart some wisdom or like try to talk someone out from not doing something. But I know so many people had done that already that were much closer to him. So it's a shitty situation. But I am getting the impression that Hax's tragic passing is being weaponized by a lot of people. Now, this is the part of the video that people might not like. I mean, you probably didn't like some of you probably didn't like the beginning of this video, but I feel like Hax's name is kind of getting dragged by the wrong people right now, and it's kind of, I mean, I wasn't close to Hacks. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I had super strong feelings about it, but you know, he was a human being. He lost his life in a very tragic way. I do feel some type of way about that, and the word on the street is that his mum is the one running his Twitter account. Now, his Twitter account seems to be going to war with the Smash scene, and I could understand, and I do understand, why somebody's family member, least of all the mother, would want to go to war with the scene that they feel like did their son dirty. I completely understand that. Where my problem really comes in with this, which is what is going to tie into the upcoming podcast, is from the outside looking in, it looks like certain individuals have gotten into the ear of this woman that might be grieving and are using the fact that she has welcomed them into her home to celebrate her son's passing as a ways to dunk on their opposition. And the person at the forefront of that is Arturo Sanchez. Now, full disclosure, I offered Arturo Sanchez 3 times to come on here and talk, and the reason that I did, you know, I'm not fucking Joe Rogan. I don't mind if someone says I don't want to appear on your podcast, but the reason that I offered it to him is because he has been on Twitter multiple times saying that nobody can debate him, nobody will come for him in terms of like, you know, going at him verbally to push back on his points, and obviously that's bullshit. I'd very easily be able to push back on multiple things, and that is why I invited him on, because I don't like the rhetoric online. So I voice messaged him yesterday, and I said to him, can you please explain to me what the hell's going on, because this seems kind of crazy. And I did say in a respectful way, I said to him, I don't want to like jump down your throat over it, I don't want to dogpile you, but what you're doing seems a bit mad. Regardless of whether he got the mum's blessing or not, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and tell a mum how to feel when their son has passed away, but when people are posting things online, as with anything, people are going to have opinions on it. And as far as I can see, the FGC has an opinion on this. I'm just saying it on video. I think it's a bit mad what I saw yesterday, if I'm being completely honest. Sorry, I don't mean to break up the flow of the video, but this is Future might cut it in real quick because I woke up this morning to see more posts from Arturo Sanchez, and it gives more validity to the idea that this guy has gone completely off the deep end. And I don't believe that all of it is trolling. I don't believe all of it is to get at people that disagree with him. And what I'm talking about here is that I don't know how much of this I can put on the screen. I'm going to put it on the screen if I can. If I can't, it might be cut out of the video. I don't know how YouTube feels about this stuff. But he's essentially posted a picture of a lolly, like a little anime girl, dancing in front of a swastika with a Katy Perry song in the background as a ways to annoy people. And then someone, and I'm not condoning this obviously because we're all adults here, even if Arturo posts absolutely insane things, I don't think you should send death threats. I don't think it's a good look. But someone posted saying these guys need to be rounded up and killed, and Arturo said, please round me up and kill me. And I read that and I was just like, does this guy have nothing to live for? Because these are like quite serious things, and people have obviously died for less. He's posting pictures, or people are posting pictures of Hitler on his page, and he's saying this picture goes hard. Someone saying to him, I met you once and you was cool, what the fuck is going on? The FGC is seething according to him, so I troll them. I don't think it's a troll anymore. And I'll speak about that in a little bit. Someone's saying, now if Furby got shot, I don't see shit, which he responds to, you're not going to shoot me. If you do, I'll just be a martyr. You're unhinged. Someone posted a picture saying, what if I told you first eternal Holocaust didn't happen? To which he responded, they're still posting this picture like it's a gotcha. This shit goes unbelievably hard. And finally posting, hello, Magnus got smoked. The Nazis effed up, they didn't burn enough of the books and knowledge, Hitler was misunderstood. And I read all of that, and I was just like, you know what, like, this isn't, I don't perceive this to be a joke anymore on Arturo's, and I get what trolling is, I understand all of that, but I do think there's a line in it. I just think he's expressing who he really is right now, which is, I guess, like a supporter of the Nazi party, which is crazy. So I posted a tweet to him and I said to him, "You've actually lost your mind. Take a day off from Twitter and seek help. I mean that seriously. Your entire personality has become trying to troll people that disagree with you or encouraging people to find you to do harm. Just because there are bad people on one side of the scene doesn't excuse what you're doing and what you're perpetuating for future tournaments and events. You are also a problem, and constantly posting Nazi memes or saying Hitler was misunderstood is absolutely insane. No, I'm not virtue signaling, since I spent the better half of the day arguing with people and being blocked by them for exercising some common sense. They're actually no different than them. You've helped in turning this place into a circus, and just for the record, since this seems to be the response to everything now, I'm not coping or seething. I ain't triggered by this. Thinking you're mad for posting the things you do also doesn't make me a leftist. Your obsession with acting like a tough guy on here and goading people into taking your life is some of the weirdest shit I've ever seen." And I stand by what I said. I think that although I have spent quite some time arguing with people about why you can't just ban people from tournaments, or why the sentiment kind of is just going to fall on deaf ears because it's never going to happen, I do also think that there is a line here where Arturo is goading people into physical violence. Now, I'm not excusing adults for not being able to exercise some decorum and act in a more parliamentary way, but at the same time, you also have to look at on the other side. He is trying to goad people into acts of violence. He's not saying that, this is, you shouldn't be doing something like this, or that you shouldn't be sending me death threats or anything like that because I'm expressing myself, even though what he's expressing is crazy. It's nothing like what we see with technicals, where he's just he's trying to expose people for doing disgusting things. Arturo's just posting up madness on his timeline and then trying to goad people into a fight. So I understand where some of these people, some of them have blocked me, and I think they probably got the wrong idea, where they probably thought I was defending Arturo specifically because he is the hot topic of conversation right now, whilst this other thing is going on with the other Twitter post. And that is obviously not the case. If a tournament organizer banned Arturo for coming to the tournament, I wouldn't have anything to say about it. And the reason for that is that he has been on Twitter for quite some time now, just telling people, find me and do what you say you're going to do. And a lot of the time people on Twitter, they just talk, they just yap, they're not going to do anything, they're not going to attack you. But the way he's going out of his way to ask for locations and say I'm going to be here, or let me know where I need to be, and then saying that he's just trying to get a rise out of people, that he's trying to get them to cope, he's trying to get them to seethe, he's trying to get them to hate. It's just like, it's gonna go somewhere ugly at the end of the day. So even though a lot of the people that blocked me, their responses were somewhat unhinged, and I didn't get an intelligent response from like 99% of the people that I interacted with, because I asked for a simple answer, I'm assuming they probably thought that I was defending somebody like Arturo. And just to make that completely clear, and obviously, I'm completely honest with you guys. I know some people won't like this. If Arturo Sanchez was banned from every single tournament going forward now, just to avoid conflict there, because he seems so hell-bent on pushing conflict forward, I would not be against that. I know that I am often against banning people, and for the most part I am. I still stand by what I said. Simply voting for somebody is not grounds to ban them. But I think when it gets to this point, when you're expressing these kinds of views and you're constantly goading people into a fight, or trying to encourage them to shoot you or stab you or something like that, it's gone way beyond the point of simple, we don't agree with your idea. Because it's one thing to have an idea, it's another thing to be doing these things. So I just wanted to add that into the video. I know I've just woken up, so I look like I've been in a car crash, but I wanted to add that in there for a little bit more context, and it'll probably go into the conversation I have on this channel with this upcoming podcast with some of the people that were at Hax's mum's house. I don't know how many people are going to be on the podcast. We don't know exactly yet. I am happy to talk to anyone. I'm happy to have people on that disagree as well with even some of the things that I've said online. So You guys let me know. Anyway, back to the video. So I asked him if he wants to come on, and I asked him, can you explain to me why you're doing what you're doing? And, you know, I'm not going to play the voice note he sent back to me, but the long and short of it is that he said, yes, I have every intention of antagonizing these people. And I just thought to myself, but why? Like, there's already so much dissension in the FGC. Why would you go down this route? You're a grown man. I don't know every single little story that links back to Arturo Sanchez. Obviously, you can't discredit what he's done in the scene historically, and you can't discredit where he might have donated his money to, because I know he did donate to charities in the past. So you can't take that away, but doing good things does not excuse you when you do bad things. And in my opinion, this guy has gone too far. Like, I don't have any hate in my heart towards him. I'm just talking about what I'm seeing. Now, the post in question comes from Hax's account, which is apparently run by his mum, and it says, "This is NYC Furby showing you a bird's eye view of the event. Make sure to check out the stream on the Manor Lord's Rumble account. To all FGC and Smash that tried to block me, Seath." I read that. Actually, do you know what? Tell a lie. I didn't read that initially. I saw the video and I didn't think anything of it. And I'd spoke to Arturo earlier in the day, just saying that I hope his mum is okay. I didn't read that caption. That caption is a fucking advertisement on a dead man's account. Like, if I'm being completely honest about this situation, even if you got the blessing from the mum, like, that seems shameless. That seems absolutely shameless. And the responses to this video are exactly what you think they are. A lot of people were assuming that somebody else was running the account and somebody else was making these posts, because you go through the posts on that account, they kind of sound like Arturo Sanchez. And I was reading it and I was like, what the fuck is this? Like Hax is dead. Like, do we have no like boundaries at all or anything? Like, he's not my son, so I don't know how to, I'm just speaking out loud about this on camera. I saw that and I was like, what the fuck? And the reason that I am so, do I want to say disgusted? I find it distasteful. The reason I'm so perplexed by this is that if you go through Arturo's feed, it just seems like he is at war with the trans community, and he's at war with the LGBT community, he's at war with the left, and he's at war with anybody that stands against what he's saying or might have a contrary opinion to what he believes. And that's why that post to me came across as pretty disgusting, because it didn't feel like it was there to honor Hax's memory. Whether the people in the venue were there to do that or not, I'm not lumping any of them in. I'm talking specifically about this video and the caption. When you look at Arturo's Twitter page and then you look at that caption and you put two and two together, it becomes less about Hax and more about, I got one over on you guys. I'm in his mother's house, cope and seeth, which is the favorite buzzwords now. Cope and seeth to absolutely everything. Now, people can do what they want, and I'm sure loads of people are not going to like my opinions on this because it comes from Hax's account. Apparently, the mum is running it, even though it reads like an Arturo tweet. But that's just my opinion on it. I'm not telling his mum how to run the account. She can do whatever she wants. But everybody reading that was like, whoa, what the fuck? Like, it's a pretty gnarly thing to read from a dead man's account, and I'll be honest with you guys. Everything has become so tribal. And one thing that I have noticed with Arturo's account specifically is that he says that the trans community did him dirty, so he just lumps them all into one, as if that everybody's a bad person. Now, of course, there are bad trans people. They're human beings just like you and me. Of course there's going to be bad people in that. Maybe there's a fair amount of bad people. There's a fair amount of bad black people and white people and whatever it might be. But if I was hard done by a black person in the FGC, or a group of black people, or a group of white people, or Hispanic or Asian, I wouldn't then start a crusade against those people. It seems a bit weird to me. I mean, I know trans people in this community that are nice people. They're just doing their shit, playing their games. They're not involved in any of this shit. And all of his posts are like, yeah, you guys started this war, I'm gonna finish you shouldn't have fucked with me, you can't kill me, blah blah. Like, it's getting to that point where I was having this conversation a long time ago with Hypnotic and his group of people about saying certain things that are gonna land you in big problems in real life. I appeared on Hypnotic's podcast following a discussion I had with Smash JT and Ryan Roger Athe, where I said to Ryan that you say certain things online, that's going to catch up to you in real life. And at that time, everybody was saying to me, oh, look, internet tough guy Mike. I'm not here to argue about UK laws. There's a lot of UK laws I don't agree with. I'm not saying that Ryan should be thrown in prison for saying spear chucker. but I can still be annoyed at it. I'm not saying he should be thrown in prison for it, but he keeps on talking about UK laws and being in the UK, so we can hypothetically, because we're on an American platform talking to Americans, when we can say hypothetically in America, you wouldn't say that to him. And my problem with this is that people are very comfortable talking shit behind the monitor. If you're going to talk that shit behind the monitor, you should do it to someone's face. Everything that I said in my videos, I'd be very comfortable saying it to your face or anybody else's. I don't believe you would call him darky to his face. That's my problem with you.
And in that's that instance, that's what am I supposed to do? Get on a fucking plane and call someone that and then go back home?
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying if you know that you wouldn't say it in person, why are you saying it behind the monitor?
If I say it in person in the UK, that's it. It's game over, baby.
Forget the UK. You're over in the US.
I can't. I live in it.
Yeah, but let's say that you're over in the US, right? Because you're treating this. So we're on a US platform. We're talking to guys over in the US. You're in a country where you're not going to be reprimanded. Would you say it to the man's face? That's my question. You would call him Darky and say, "Hey, the conversation."
I literally call Dark Hour as a short form for his name, Darky.
That's how I call it. I'm talking about Abu Bakr. And now things have completely flipped on their head, because I'm sure you guys have probably seen Ethan Klein and Hassan Arbi, or Hassan Piker, had their debate, and almost everyone unanimously said that based on the things that Hassan said in that and his support for whatever he was supporting, he should be deplatformed, banned. And there were even people saying, the very same people that were against me and saying that if you say stupid things online, you might win a stupid prize in person, are now saying the same thing. And it should have been clear to everybody a long time ago that you can't just say whatever you want online and get away with it. That's not me saying that I want anything to happen to these people. I don't even particularly want something to happen to somebody like Hassan. I don't want to see somebody being harmed, regardless of how stupid the shit that comes out of their mouth is. I'm just saying I live in the real world, and that ties back to Arturo. If you go through Arturo's post, it's like he is egging people on to come and find him and fuck around, and I'm just like, bro, why do you want this for yourself? Why do you, I mean, you can have differing opinions, but there's a lot of people in the scene and not everybody is sane of mind. Do you really want to die on this hill? Like, reading his posts, knowing that, you know, he's older than me, this is a grown-ass man. I'm reading these posts and I'm like, bro, like, what in the hell is going on with you? Which is why I wanted to have him on here, because he has so much time to consistently and constantly tweet at trans people and the LGBT and the left, that he does have time on his hands. He just doesn't want to talk to somebody that can push back on his points. And please make no mistake about it, I can easily push back on a bunch of things that he's done. It's very simple. But obviously people saw that post and everybody had the same reaction, and you've got Chris G here saying man and ... which is probably one of the more tame responses, but all of us are a bit like, yeah, what the hell's going on here? Then you have Temrio here saying you're a straight lame. Hope it's worth choosing that side because they're not going to pay your bills. Do you know what? It's not to single out Temrio, but this is how they all talk. They're all the same. The people that are calling for the ban of Trump supporters in fighting game events, and people like Temrio are saying you pick that side, which is something I've heard 100 times. These people are so disconnected from reality. Most people, most everyday people, the people that actually go outside and touch grass, don't pick sides. They look at individuals and they base it off of that. This whole tribalism and this whole like trying to rally people against each other on both sides is going to end in tears. It's going to end in disaster. Like, if you don't pick a side, then you're a coward, which doesn't really make any sense, because then you're not protected by either side, right? You're getting arrows from both sides of the fence. So that doesn't really make any sense as it is. You don't have to take a side, guys, is what I'm trying to say. Like, these people are too far gone. Everything is right and left to them. So much so that I saved this post because it made me laugh so much. And this was actually, I think, like a week or two ago, but I saved it because I knew at some point I'd have to reference it. You guys know James Chen, right? He's been commentating for a very long time. James Chen put up this tweet, which is a perfectly normal tweet, perfectly normal thing to tweet out. And he says, I'm really sad to see the use of AI in this post. It's so ugly and gross, but at the same time, why does M. Bison look kinda like me? And do you wanna guess what Arturo replies? James, your far left progressive side is showing with your hatred of AI art. James responds with, why is this a left or right thing? It's not political to me at all. I effing hate AI art. I respect artists and understand the craft and work and joy of being able to actually create art. Generating art isn't art. I don't care what effing political side you're on, FAI art, which is a perfectly normal thing to say. That's a sentiment that I share. I know AI is here to stay. I know what it's going to do. I know that people are going to lose their jobs, but when I'm getting work done for my YouTube channel, I would rather pay an artist. I'd rather an artist do it. I can understand that AI is going to be useful in certain things, but what James Chen said is a perfectly normal thing to say. Right and left don't come into it. Arturo Sanchez in his infinite wisdom says, I've just noticed who speaks out against AI and AI art tends to be mostly progressives. I actually don't mind it, and I feel like there's room for both to coexist. And that is how you know he's too far gone. Everything is right or left. He's forgotten that there are everyday people. People like my friends that hang about that don't give a fuck. Some of them have right-leaning beliefs, and the same person will have left-leaning beliefs, because that's how people are. People are more complex than right or left, but everything boils down into echo chambers and choosing a side. It's like watching two sports teams going at it. It's like Manchester United and Arsenal, and if you don't pick a side, then you're going to be in the middle and you're going to get dogpiled. It's absolute brain rot across the board. I know I've been ranting for a while, but it's just madness. Like, so to all of you that are saying ban Trump supporters from coming to tournaments, I mean, you can keep on saying it, but you're wasting your breath. It's not going to happen. You think they're going to check people's IDs at the door? You're cracked. You're smoking crack. You are absolutely insane. I'm not saying you have to like them. I don't like some of the shit that comes out of Trump's mouth either. I don't like some of the shit that comes out of his supporters' mouth. I also don't like some of the shit that comes out of Democrats' mouths either. I'm not going to check you at the door. Like, what is it that you guys want? What is it that you want? You're calling these people out, but there's no end game here. They haven't committed a crime. I do just want to quickly pop this screenshot in here for you guys to read. Now, this is one of many unhinged responses that I've received. Now, by these people's logic, these kinds of responses are the kinds of responses where you might look to ban them. This one in particular, I wouldn't ban him. I later came to find out this individual is a uni student. I don't know if it's a guy or a girl. I kind of laughed at how absolutely outlandish it was, but these are the kinds of messages that I've received just because I said that people should coexist in a venue peacefully, and if you don't like each other, go separate ways. Imagine that. That is what drew the ire of the community. So this individual said, of course the just don't pay attention to them guy is located in the UK. Come on, say what you really mean and stop the dog whistle. Isn't like the UK isn't giga racist and transphobic. You aren't slick paying for Twitter. Go and choke on a knife for telling us to accept bigots. I mean, it's like common sense has left the room, isn't it? I'm almost at a loss for words at the sheer stupidity. Now, again, this is a uni student, so I'm not going to go in too hard, but if you use that as a template, I have to say, like, you really do need to learn to exercise some common sense. Yes, I agree. There are some crazy people, and they should be banned from tournaments. And some of those people happen to be Trump supporters. Some of those people might be crazy because they're Trump supporters. But by that same token, the same applies to people like this or people on the left. It's not exclusive to one side. I hate to break it to you. There are just as many people to ban on the left. There are enough screenshots on Twitter that have been archived and, you know, probably be shown at a later date if need be, of psychotic behavior from hundreds of members of the community, and it's very easy to know where their politics sit since they plaster it all over their social medias. Now, would I ban this individual because they told me to choke on a knife? Personally, nah. I mean, I've received so many stupid remarks today from people assuming that I am a closeted racist or that I am standing up for bigots. And then on the other side of it, I've received messages from individuals I'm not going to name because I know they like it when I name them, saying that I'm a leftist. I am secretly working with TOs. It's just, they all sound the same. You all sound the same. The Arturo types and this guy with his crazy tweet to me, you all sound the same. You're all mad. You all make assumptions because I don't agree with you, and people sane of mind stop and think, do you know what? Maybe we shouldn't just ban people because they voted for somebody, but also you are rage baiting and you are maybe doing something distasteful with a deceased man's account and the people that are supporting that or whatever it might be. I hate to break it to a lot of you that are very tribal and sit in your camps, but there are a lot of us that are looking at you guys and thinking that you're absolutely batshit crazy. Now, there were a couple of people that did DM me, and, you know, obviously can't drop DMs here, but they did say to me, you know, I used to talk like that, and it's really, really shameful. And you know, I'm sorry for, you know, people speaking to you in that manner. And to those people that DM me asking me if I was okay, I'm fine. This does not bother me. I already knew when I quote retweet that there was a chance that it was going to get picked up and people were going to hurl abuse at me, call me a bigot, call me a transphobe, and then on the other side, call me a lefty, call me a member of the LGBT community. They're all the same, guys. So don't worry about them. Their brains have rotted and they've been on Twitter for too long. I know a lot of us here grew up on the arcades, and a lot of us get together and we talk and we chat and we go to events and we do the community streams and we have that face-to-face relationship, or some of you anyway. These types, I mean, they have anime profile pictures for a reason, so I wouldn't get too worked up about them. It's just crazy people doing what crazy people do on Twitter. And as for Arturo and, you know, whoever else that is on his side with this whole going after the LGBT community, you guys lumping everybody in saying that we want war, we're going to war, you guys started this, you can't kill me, and then reposting things like your locations, or you're reposting things where you're trying to bait people. If I was a tournament organizer watching the chaos that is going on online today, I wouldn't ban Trump supporters en masse. Like, I'm not going to be like, right, you guys all voted for this guy, you ain't coming to either. But I am going to look at somebody like Arturo Sanchez's tweet where you are just looking for a fight. You're looking for a fight. I mean, all of these tweets is looking, you go through his Twitter page, the man's looking for a fight. I, in good faith, cannot allow somebody like that into the venue. Not because he's a Trump supporter, but because he's lost the plot. So my point with this video is that both sides of this conversation are absolutely ruining the FGC. The ones that think they're being inclusive and the ones that are trying to wage war against the boogeyman. You guys have fucked it. I can only imagine that it's going to get worse from here before it gets better. Now, as for that podcast I was referencing, there were some individuals that were at Hax's mum's house that are going to appear on the podcast, I believe. We'll see how it goes. You guys will know more on the 8th of May. And, you know, like, I always keep it respectful on the podcast, but I have questions. And it's not just going to be about that Twitter account and what's going on with that. It's going to be about a wide range of topics, because even though they call me a fencer, which at this point I'm perfectly fine taking that name. I know they tried to use it as an insult, but sitting on this fence and looking on both sides, you're like, yeah, I'm okay up here. I don't want to exclude, you know, trans people from stuff. I don't want to lump people from the LGBT community into one little bubble. I think that's stupid and low IQ. I think that it would be dumb if you did that for any sort of race or religion as well. And I also don't want to exclude people because they voted for somebody, which could be for a variety of reasons. I don't think that helps the situation at all. So we'll see what happens on Thursday. But guys, just fucking, like, just push buttons, man. Like, bringing politics into this space is not going to end well for anyone, and it is largely a waste of time. We have coexisted with people that don't agree with us in this scene for a very, very long time. It doesn't need to be any different. If somebody comes into the venue and they're attacking you because you're part of a community, then they can go. If they put hands on you, then they can go. If they're on Twitter saying they're going to do something or they're harassing a woman, obviously ban them. But if somebody's on Twitter saying that they voted this guy in and they're happy that he's doing this policy, I don't know, whatever tariff he's doing, I don't know what the guy's doing, but if they're happy that there's a Republican running their state or whatever, like, just fucking get over it, man. Like, what do you want? Honestly, some of you are, like, you've lost your minds. You've actually lost your minds. I don't think you're looking at, like, the end goal here. Like, where does this actually go? And the answer is nowhere. The answer is nowhere. You're gonna go to these tournaments, whether it's Arturo's crowd or the people that hate Trump, you're gonna push the buttons and you're gonna go home, and that's it. And if you're a tournament organizer and you want to ban somebody, it's your tournament. You can do whatever you want. I just don't think that is a good idea. I think that's a pretty slippery slope, considering how sensitive people have become. Anyways, we'll see what happens on Thursday. That could turn into a very spicy podcast. We'll see who shows up for it, but I'll keep you guys informed as we go along. Take care, have a good day, and peace.